Today you were on Sirius XM with Joy and Reed. Is that correct?
Yes, it was. It was a little. I was very nervous. It was last minute. I got an email around about 12 asking me could I talk to her at 12:30.
Wow.
With little, yeah, with little connection with the group People for Bernie,
Mhm.
on behalf of People for Bernie, African Americans for Bernie. Would I be willing to talk, as a woman, about? I was told it was going to be about the Gloria Steinem apology and comments, that whole thing again.
Mhm.
When I get on the phone, when the producer calls me and I get on the phone and I ask, just to be clear, because when I finally got on the website to see kind of what the show's topic was for today, of course it's the Killer Mike story, and that's all it was about, was the Killer Mike story. So I had already, I
Wait,
did
they
not.
trying to set you up for the okey doke?
Yeah. But your girl had to think on her feet.
Yeah, when
Um,
we know you can handle it. Listen, just for the sake of people who may not know what's going on with Killer Mike, give us a brief summary, and then we'll dig.
so yesterday, let's just back up for a second. Bernie had a really good day yesterday. He had a great town hall in Charleston, South Carolina, and then he came here to Atlanta and like killed it at Morehouse last night. For the few people out there who may not know about Morehouse, Morehouse is one of the many premier HBCUs, historically black colleges and universities. I was very surprised to find out how many people did not know what the acronym was. But Morehouse, Spelman, Clark Atlanta, Morris Brown, that is what we call the AUC, the Atlanta University Center down here. And Morehouse came to, the AUC definitely showed Bernie some love last night. I think I think it was between 4,500 and 5,000 people. So
Wow.
Bernie has had two events in Atlanta in the past few months with close to 5,000 people each time.
Wow.
It's a very diverse crowd. There is some clips floating around of the cues for Morehouse stepping, which Huffington Post incorrectly called it a dance number. Like, come on, y'all, get it straight. Y'all don't got no cues on staff over there. Y'all
Do
got no bras on staff. Like,
somebody,
somebody didn't know that was called stepping. But
who watch School
anyway,
Days. Anybody. All
right, right. But one little lovely tidbit from last night. Apparently, Jasmine Guy was there and spoke. Miss Whitley Gilbert from A Different World herself, and
right.
she was feeling the burn. So that
Awesome.
kind of like warmed my heart a little bit. But what happened? Killer Mike introducing Bernie yet again, speaking as only Killer Mike does. I actually have the quote pulled up. This is what he said. He said, I talked to Jane Elliott a few weeks ago, and Jane said, Michael, a uterus doesn't qualify you to be the president of the United States. You have to have policy that's reflective of social justice. Then Killer Mike continued on to say, paying women a fair wage is social justice, making sure that minorities have jobs is social justice, ending a bullshit drug war is social justice, right?
Mhm.
Lots of applause. Immediately, it was an uproar. He's facing backlash. There's article after article. I forget the Amanda, whatever her name, who writes for the Salon. She took only the uterus part, completely left out the rest of the quote.
Mhm.
Now, whether you agree with his use of the quote or not, it's a direct quote from Jane Elliott. Jane Elliott, who is the anti-racism activist. If everyone may not be familiar with her name, but you will be familiar with the blue eyes, brown eyes experiments done in classrooms with children years ago, trying to teach children more about privilege. Um, so he and Jane Elliott clearly had a conversation at some point in time, and this is what Elliott had to say. And he quoted her directly. She has defended him, saying that, that's what she said. He quoted her, and she really feels like it's being blown out of proportion because he's a man saying it, and that it's a ridiculous thing to be upset about. And that truthfully, gender nor skin color nor any of these other attributes, really honestly, nor religion should be a determining factor. And everyone's upset. It's minimizing, people, the false outrage. It just really gets me because I don't understand how you have a campaign that makes gender its central issue, not gender as in gender issues or gender politics per
Right.
se, but the gender of the candidate. I mean, Hillary Clinton has been throwing that "well, I'm a woman" line around since like June, July, or whenever. I mean, she's even said that, being a woman is what makes her like different, or I mean, she's
Right.
used her gender as its defining characteristic that somehow sets her campaign apart, or is the reason why we should choose her. When you have supporters who say, she's a woman. As women, we owe women. We all have to stick together. And I'm not even talking about Steinem or Albright. I mean, there are, following along what Leslie was saying, there are plenty of people. We get it from women and from men on social media that we're supposed to support the women because we're women and women supposed to stick together. If you're a woman supporting a man and you're supporting the patriarchy, blah, blah, blah. And so, I mean, Killer Mike's comments could have been, you could consider them vulgar. I mean, if that's, he's directing to the point. I mean, he's being him. I don't expect him to say or do anything other than what he has done. Does that mean that I think that he's sexist and anti-woman? No. Would I have said it? No, I wouldn't have used those words, but I mean,
well, let's dissect something here, and then tell me more about the actual interview with Joy-Ann Reid, because I think the people that it's a thin line between love and hate, right? Yes. I love Joy-Ann Reid.
Yes.
Now she's on my damn nerves. All right. Yes. But anyway, so with this statement that he made, in context, he's saying, quoting regardless if he's quoting a woman or another man, these are the words that he said, that a uterus does not qualify you to be the president of the United States, essentially. Is that correct?
Right. That's what he said. That's a direct quote, pretty much.
And in context of what he's saying, what could possibly be sexist about it other than him saying uterus?
Well, people are upset. I mean, people similarly got very upset when Susan Sarandon some weeks back made a similar comment that she does not vote with her vagina. I mean, the problem is that it's pushback. I mean, I've said this before in interviews. I'll say it again. It is pushback to act as if, oh my God, people act like we're just voting for Hillary because she's a woman. Well, there are a lot of women out there who are voting for Hillary because she's a woman. People repeat it often. And actually, before listening to the clip, when Killer Mike was talking about what led him to this quote was when he was talking about, when he was trying to reference what is perceived as the generational difference between older women, this is our chance to get our woman, and there are older women who feel that way maybe in their lifetime. They think this is their only chance. But for the rest of us, boy, stop.
What is that falling on your head?
It's a lacrosse stick. Forgive my son, who's being a little prankster right now. But he plays lacrosse. He has his new lacrosse stick. Maximus, stop it. Maximus, seriously, we're on live. Stop. Oh, I'm sorry. Apologies, everyone. I have a 12-year-old who needs to go to bed. But anyway, but back on topic. Apologies. Back on topic. But he was referencing, somebody's grandma or mom saying, baby, you got to come and vote for the woman or whatever. And that was what led him into the quote, because there are people who are out there saying that. There are people trying to pull women together, women of color together, as if, we all got to stick together because the woman, and it's what's good for all of us. And we can't disregard that conversation, that is fluent influencing the conversation. And so, like I said, you might not disagree with his use of saying, uterus. I mean, he says stuff that's jarring into the point and that gets your attention, that happens. I don't think that it's sexist though. Like,
but they're reducing this is, and I'm going to say I'm sure if I dug hard enough, I can find an example from Bernie Sanders' camp doing this, but I'd have to dig. Hillary Clinton's team constantly reduces the conversation to the most simplistic interpretation, taking it out of context and creating something for someone to be outraged over.
Well, because they can't
substance.
They can't win on the substance. They can't win on the issues. I mean, we still have we were 2 weeks or a week and a half from the transcripts, right? We've never gotten transcripts of these speeches and stuff. Everything is always because. Oh, and I need to find a 2008 video. There's a 2008 video of then Senator Obama telling Hillary to cut it out with the gender card, basically. And I've watched it before, and I need to find it again because she kind of tried to do the same thing when she started to lose, and that's what it is. This is a losing strategy too, right? You're losing, so the only thing you can do is try to get the sympathy vote now. And to go to the conversation I had with Joy, earlier today, because I'm gonna call her Joy because I feel like, she tried, to get me. I feel like she tried to get me. I mean, on the one hand, I feel like she was trying to do her job, but I do feel like across the media, whether it's because of that is the type of people they've interacted with or whatever it is, there is a certain narrative. whether it's the Bernie bro narrative or that Bernie supporters are just pig-headed and can't see anything else. I had said something at one point during the interview, and she was like caught completely off guard. And I'm trying to find a clip of the clip. I'm trying to find the clip. It was on Sirius XFM this morning, or Sirius XM earlier today at 12. But I said, I guess, like, we really need to recenter. I said something like, we need to recenter the conversation back on the issues and substance and stop focusing so much on this gender, controversy that is a non-controversy, basically, because we're getting distracted from very real issues. Everyone thinks that they're now saying the same things. Hillary Clinton on February 16th, 17th has just now released a racial justice platform.